Now, Celestial Park is the only one that is a Universal original, the original land, I guess.
Well, Dark Universe would be one too. But
I guess.
this would be the completely from scratch. This is not an
Okay.
IP based land. This
Okay.
is just something that they have. It's kind of like old school Imagineering. They've just thought of this based on the park concept.
And they even said bringing the park back into theme park. So they said this area is going to be basically like as you enter into the park through the Kronos, they called it. This is where you enter, and there's a lot of like lush landscapes and water features and stuff like that. So there's going to be thrilling rides. There'll be entertainment. There'll be dining, shopping, and it'll include that Helios Grand Hotel, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And it is pretty. It's very pretty. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, it seems very Greek to me. Did you get like a Greek vibe?
Well, Helios is Greek for sun, so it does have like.
There you go.
I mean, the concept of it's very much like, the green part. They're doing that all throughout the theme park. They've said multiple times. So, which is great. And when you're in Orlando, like you don't want a concrete jungle like most of the theme parks currently are.
Right.
There's going to be trees and shade all over the place in all the lands, but Celestial Park is the main hub, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like their main street, their version of it. But
Yeah.
The whole park does have a cosmic theme to it.
Right.
So when you enter into the Kronos, it's like the first portal into these other worlds, and each land is its own portal. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that concept with this a little bit. So it does have some, I don't know specifically, they didn't really say on Celestial Park, but it does have sort of a cosmic mythological feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, I think.
And then we'll talk about Starfall Racers. So they did kind of introduce the name of that, and it's the dual roller coaster, right?
Yes. So the trademark for this had been out there for a bit, but this is the dual racing coaster, very much in the way of the old coaster that they used to have over there, the Dueling Dragons sort of
Fire Nice.
Yeah, sort of concept. So I think this is a little bit of a throwback to that.
Okay.
But they said about Starfall Racers that some interesting tidbits that again, Celestial Park was the only area they really gave any ride details about. So it says here on the description of this, it says, ride a shooting star across the cosmos, share a race across the cosmos on Starfall Racers, a breathtaking dual launch coaster reaching incredible speeds up to 62 miles per hour. Board a comet and rocket to the furthest reaches of the stars at heights up to 133 feet along 5,000 feet of track. It says, race along an inverted crisscross known as the Celestial Spin in a dazzling display of blazing colors and ethereal music. So they did say that the height requirement on this was, is 48 inches. So
Okay.
minimum height requirement. Nothing really else. And the other thing that is kind of neat about this, because they did release, along with their update, a lot more concept art around the whole park.
Uh-huh.
But they did say on this ride in particular that the comet will light up the sky. They said there will be no external track lighting at night on this ride. So the ride vehicles, though, are fully illuminated. So it's supposed to look like comets are shooting around.
That'll be so cool. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I won't ride this. I'm not a roller coaster person, but it looks really cool. And I will look from afar and think, wow, that looks really cool.
Well, I will write it then. Okay, so moving on from Starfall Racers, going along the path here. You kind of like, it's almost like a circle almost.
Yes.
And as you go around the circle, you would pass by a couple of portals to the other lands.
Well, I was going to say, it's just,
Yeah.
if you think of Magic Kingdom and the hub, it's the exact same concept except bigger. It's going to be bigger than Magic Kingdom's version of it, but yeah, it's going to be direct access into the lands.
Yeah, exactly. And the portals are each themed to their own land. So like Super Nintendo World is like green and has, I forgot what it says on the outside of it.
I think it said, let's go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Dark Universe is like purple, etc. So one of the other rides they have in this Celestial Park is Constellation Carousel, which looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks like it kind of looks like the floor of Alien Swirling Saucers. I think it's that same kind of carousel.
It's similar. So the floor is like that. So it's a carousel, but it's very unique looking. So first off, it's going to look it looks gorgeous what it's going to look like. It looks
Oh,
like what's like
gosh.
stained glass. There's going to be one thing
So pretty.
in Celestial Park is there's going to be a lot of like water features, a lot of fountains, a giant in-park fountain, and then there's other fountains. So like right when you walk in, there's going to be a fountain display there. We'll talk about it in a minute. There's a restaurant that sits on the water that's going to be near some fountains. So there's a lot of fountains, giving you definitely a park vibe is what they want in Celestial Park. So Constellation Carousel, there is no height requirements. It's a carousel. This is a family ride. But it is interesting because it says here, and this is the official description, it says, climb aboard this imaginative carousel where the cosmic energy of the universe enables guests to ride the constellations themselves. Guest carriages include celestial lions, dragons, peacocks, and more. Each carriage turns 360 degrees while lifting riders up to 6 feet in the air.
Oh, dang.
Celestial music and color dazzle your senses as you whirl and twirl together across the Milky Way.
I missed that 6 feet in the air part. I did not know that. That's really cool.
Which, if you've ridden a carousel, it's not, I mean, it's a little higher than a normal carousel, but not that much. I mean, because usually when I'm on those with the kids, some of those get up to like my shoulder height, and I'm 6'3". So I don't think that part is, I think the turning in 360 degrees is unique. And if you look at the concept art here, and like they do have some fly-through video footage, it definitely looks very unique. Like it's domed. It's right near some fountains. Like I think this park at night, and again, most theme parks do this, but I think during the day it's going to have a different vibe versus at night. I feel like this park is going to come alive at night. It's got so much cool lighting and everything like
Looks
that.
Pretty. It says the ceiling of Constellation Carousel is a star tracker featuring rotating celestial star patterns with a center mesmerizer, creating a ribbon cone effect while you ride.
Yeah.
Interesting. So cool. So so those are the two rides within this land, right? There's no other rides.
In Celestial Park, correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the restaurant, the Atlantic.
Yeah, so this is in the construction updates, we've been seeing this. It's like an octagonal shaped building that's under scrims, but we've known this to be a restaurant, but they came out and said it's going to be called Atlantic. And the official description they have here, so this is a full-service restaurant, does have a bar. The menu and details says coming soon, so we don't really know. They give us a little idea here in the description here. So it says, an undersea adventure in fine dining. So it's across the shimmering waters of the Neptune Pool in Celestial Park. Atlantic is an undersea culinary fantasy. Inside glass walls reminiscent of an enormous Victorian aquarium, starfish dwell peacefully with serene illuminated fish swimming above you. Indulge in exceptional seafood and steaks, or enjoy a cocktail at the lively Aquaria bar. And
dang, the graphics. If we'll put this in the show notes, but like the concept art or like the graphics for it are so cool looking. Like it's just basically a glass wall where you can see outside. You can see the water.
Yeah. So the idea
pretty.
is, and it says here, dining in the deep. The decorative fish that line the ceiling are surrounded by metallic curtains that shimmer as they sway, creating the illusion of being underwater in a massive aquarium. So it's supposed to be like you are dining essentially underwater. If you look in the concept art, it looks like fish are above you and stuff. So
yes.
Now it does say fine dining. This is probably going to be an expensive restaurant, if I were to guess. And the outside of the restaurant are fountains that will do like
jumping fountains.
Don't know if this will be like to music while you eat, but you will be able to sit out there and watch fountains and have basically like a dinner and a show, essentially, I suppose.
That's so cool. Okay, is there anything else in this land we need to talk about?
There's a couple of things.
Okay.
So you do have there's a Nintendo Superstar store that is going to be outside of Super Nintendo World.
Oh, okay. I was confused because I saw that and I was like, wait, is that in Celestial Park?
So the reason this is, a lot of people have this question on the updates. They say, why is this outside of Super Nintendo World? And the reason being, and one thing that is unique about what Epic Universe is doing this, is each land is self-contained. So you won't, like, once you go into Super Nintendo World, you won't be able to then go directly over to say like Wizarding World. Each land has an entry and an exit. Now we don't know if it's going to be like strictly enforced about like you have to go out a certain way, but we know going in that's probably the case. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But they have this sitting outside the land, which this Nintendo Superstar store is just a Nintendo themed store.
Right.
But the reason it's outside of it is because if the land, say, is closed for capacity, or one reason that these lands are self-contained is potentially these lands can be rented out. So you could do like a corporate event, rent out, say, Super Nintendo World. Well, if you're unable to get in, then you can still, get some Nintendo-themed merchandise by going in here, is essentially the idea of it. So it says it's an entire store full of Nintendo toys and apparel, as you would imagine. Gaming fans will find something to level up their fun at the Super Nintendo store. It says step inside and discover toys, apparel, and other colorful keepsakes and souvenirs based on the characters of the Super Nintendo World.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just outside. Like you've got the portal to Super Nintendo World. This is like just to the right. I believe it's to the right. And so it's in Celestial Park. That's why a lot of people had questions about that, but that is why it's outside of the land.
Okay. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing is there is another restaurant.
Oh, that's right. This is by the hotel, right?
It's right outside the hotel.
Okay.
Like if you're looking directly at the hotel, it's like to the left. This is a Pan-Asian. It's called the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian Restaurant. Do you want to read the description here on it?
Sure. So it says, take a culinary journey across Asia at the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian Restaurant. Enjoy authentic Pan-Asian cuisine or relax at the Tiger Bar. Ooh.
I like it.
It's a step beside a bustling courtyard where it's always evening under the glow of ethereal. Ethereal. Thank you. Lanterns. Says enjoy authentic Pan-Asian cuisine as dazzling neon dragons chase across the walls or curl up with a cocktail at Tiger Bar. Yeah, it's very. It looks like it glows.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of does. Yeah, there's
really cool.
There's two restaurants. Now there are going to be some. I know there is another restaurant in Celestial Park as well. So again, what they announced is not everything.
Yeah.
It's rumored that it's a barbecue restaurant due to like the chimneys that are on there. And there's some, I'm sure, quick service places as well. So there's more stuff than this in here. This is just what they have announced. But concept art of this looks cool. It looks open. That's how it looks. It looks like you're sitting under the sky with like lanterns and things.
Oh, you think that's like out open to the sky?
No, I said it's supposed to give you the illusion.
I'm sorry.
I don't believe Florida is going to have a restaurant with an open roof. I think that would be a disaster waiting to happen. Your meal would be interrupted by thunderstorms consistently.
That was a silly assumption.
No, it gives you the idea. You look at the concept art, it looks like it would be, but no, it is in fact a building with a roof and everything.
I like a restaurant that has a lot of Asian influences. I mean, Japanese, Chinese. Thai.
If it's good Asian food, I'm in. That's always a hit.
It says, be sure to keep your eyes open while dining. The signage hanging around the restaurant contains many Easter eggs of Celestial Park you won't want to miss. Well, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all we know about, basically the stuff that they talked about. We're going to talk about the Universal Grand Helios Hotel now. That is basically, if you're looking at the park, it's like at the back of Celestial Park. But it's at the in-park hotel. And Jared knows all about this. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, so this is part of Celestial Park as well.
Right, I know.
Now, this is going to be a very interesting hotel. So all Universal said about this hotel. So Universal didn't say a whole lot. Right. We've been watching construction of it. There's been a lot of like probablys about this, but they did say this is a 500-room hotel. Assuming this is going to be a very, I would say the most expensive hotel on Universal property. They didn't say anything about pricing, but looking at it and some of the amenities and things that I'm assuming going to be part of it, it's going to be pretty pricey. So in the announcement, they showed some concept art. They said it's a 500-room hotel, and the only other verbiage they said about Helios officially was Helios would be implemented into the park like no other theme park in the world, and saying it was like this center focus.
Okay.
Which is interesting. So a few days, which is very teasing. And if you look at the concept art and everything, like it looks very, very interesting, almost like majestic looking.
Okay.
So the day before Universal made their announcement, there was actually some information about Helios that leaked. Now, again, don't know if this is true. This was reported. I think this leaked onto Reddit and a couple of forums. They're no longer there. I couldn't find the original post. Orlando Theme Park Zone, I'm not familiar with them, but they did have an article up with screenshots of this, which is where I got a lot of this information. So in this leak, It seems, if I were to guess, this is from the design team, perhaps maybe a third party that leaked this.
Okay.
But there's like probably almost 10 new different concept arts. Again, looks accurate because this looks exactly like part of the ones that Universal released. So they didn't have much, but what they did have was, this is the description of the hotel. This gives us some interesting tidbits. So it says, quote, "This in-park themed hotel is a combination of carefully planned programmatic elements with a unique thematic story that culminates in a lavish extension of story for guests to the park. Said envisioned as a present-day alternate universe design, this project was born out of the imaginary of fable, video game world, and film. Set as the backdrop to the adjacent theme park, Epic Universe, of course, the client," and that's why it gives me the idea that this was the design team, says the client, and this is interesting, listen to this tidbit, "sought to create a, quote, Disney castle which was inhabitable.
Okay.
Heavily influenced by thematic storytelling, this one-of-a-kind hotel houses 500 themed rooms and suites, a spectacular outdoor pool, and an amenity floor that includes a ballroom and grandiose domed bar experience." That is all they said about it. But even inside of that, so there's a couple of things. First off, it's a themed hotel in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
So it's almost supposed to be, it's present day, but this is like an alternate reality.
Out of this
thing.
world.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's first thing I thought it was like, you start talking about that, you sort of like, oh, is this like Star Cruiser territory? But I don't believe it's that.
I don't think it is.
It's not. You're not talking about, like LARPing as a character. I think it's just a very heavily themed hotel. What I think it is as well, again, each land is its own portal. And technically when you enter into this park, you're going into a different world, which that's what I think Celestial Park is going to be, is the same thing as a hotel, like this alternate dimension sort of thing, like a little bit different. So I think when you go into this hotel, you're technically, again, going into another portal, is how they think they'll kind of play this.
Oh, okay.
But the things that are interesting, and if you look at the concept art, this does hold it up. So the rumor has been going around is there's going to be some sort of nightly fireworks show, because this is one thing Universal has kind of lacked over the years. It's not like a solid show like, say, Disney, Magic Kingdom has Happily Ever After. Universal's never really had that. They've done some shows on Hogwarts Castle.
They have the fountain show.
They do, but again, nothing that you would say is like that was amazing, like grand. I guess I put it on that scale. So by saying that the client sought to create a Disney castle which was inhabitable means, and from their verbiage as well, that it's going to be a center focus of the park.
Yeah.
I believe this will be the park icon, much like
Okay.
think of it as Cinderella's park, but instead of not Cinderella's park, Cinderella's castle, but instead of it just being this castle that you can look at, it's actually a hotel in which you can stay in.
Right.
So I think part of it is there is Peninsula behind it, and if you look at this little video there that we're looking at now, but you can see on the Universal website, that's where there are going to be fireworks that shoot off from there. So you can have fireworks above it. I think they'll probably do projections onto it, much like they do at Magic Kingdom.
I can see that.
And then in front of the hotel, Universal didn't say anything about this, is a giant fountain. And this thing is huge. Think of like a Bellagio fountain in Vegas.
Ooh.
Very similar to that. So I think what you're going to have here is a nighttime show that involves fountains, fireworks, and projection technology onto the Helios Hotel.
That'd be crazy.
I believe. Now, it may not be projection, but Universal has done projection stuff. They've done projection shows onto Hogwarts. So they do have, some experience doing that. And then the domed bar experience at the top, you can see this dome thing at the very top. Universal hasn't confirmed this, but the rumors have been that there's going to be a lounge/bar up there, which you can watch the fireworks from up there.
Uh-huh.
So again, this hotel, more than likely, out of our price range.
Yeah, probably.
The guess here, I would assume, we had talked earlier, I would be shocked if it's under $500 a night.
Oh, shocked.
But again, the only thing I will say is Universal's premieres, they don't price them the same as Disney's. But they could, Epic Universe could drive a whole different type of demand. And this is going to be much nicer than anything Universal has had to offer before. So I'm sure this will become the most expensive hotel. Again, this is an in-park hotel. So you arrive on the street side, you come in, and then you can walk straight into the park out of the hotel.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
very unique in that way. Like if you're staying
Right.
here, you can just get up, go downstairs, go into the park, and start your day.
With valid theme park admission, they say.
Assuming. Well, unless they do it, you know how they do at the premieres where you get express pass included. Unless they
So-
do this to where guests potentially get park admission with their stay. I mean, you never
Their
know.
verbiage said that I don't think that's included.
It probably is not. I'm just
No.
saying they potentially could do packages or something like that.
Maybe.
But yeah. But that was all. I mean, again, that was some leaks. So again, the concept art also shows the pool area. But one thing that's interesting about this is during the construction of this, the pool area is very, very close to in-park elements. Like you can literally probably throw a baseball not even that far and hit Dark Universe. So
Really?
it's very close. I'm very curious as to
Oh,
how.
because the art right here, the Dark Universe is
Yes.
right there.
So if you look at the art to the left is where
Yeah.
the pool is. So you're very
Oh.
close to the Pan Asian restaurant as well. So
Right.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of soundscaping going on because
Uh-huh.
I'm just curious when you're in that pool area, are you going to be able to hear theme park sounds?
Right.
I'm assuming they're going to do their best to probably block that out and maybe not see. Now, visuals, I don't know. Universal in the past has not been as big as Disney on, say, like visually not being able to see stuff. I don't know how they could really get around that. But
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing to me of how they'll do that. Because, again, it's very close to the Dark Universe there.
Interesting. Okay.
But, yeah, so this hotel looks fantastic. It looks
Yeah, it
looks
does.
very expensive.
Yep.
And we'll wait for more details on that. I am curious if, with that bar up there, if it's a guest only or maybe it's club level only. Because if that thing's open to the public, it's going to be worse than Trader Sam's trying to get up to that bar, I would assume, especially for nighttime showings. If you think of like California Grill, it'll probably be for, I would assume, hotel guests only. And maybe club
at
level.
least at the beginning too. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so that is Celestial Park. That's everything that they announced. Again, there's some
Okay.
things that they haven't fully come out and said yet, but looks very impressive.
It's fantastic.